Hey everybody, it's Emily, the Crazy Worm Lady. I'm here today with the Worm Factory, which we just gave a small feeding last week because of the fact that there was still a lot of that celery and onion that were unprocessed. So I'd broken up these pieces of apple and put them in here. I wanted to see how the worms were getting along. And it seems like they are doing pretty darn good. I'm pretty pleased. It's a little bit dry in here. Last week I was saying it was a little bit wet. Gotta find that healthy balance. But still definitely hospitable to worms, just not quite the way I would like it. But the worms seem all throughout here. I'm starting to smell a little bit of onion, so I'm wondering if I'm getting close to digging up one of those onions. It's just like the shell of an onion, it looks like. Here's the celery, and it actually appears now that it's breaking down more and not growing. Worms are all along the outside of this, so that's good. Here's some more onion. It's starting to decompose as well. The only spot we haven't really gone yet is this back corner. And this onion is still trying to grow. It's so funny. But it'll just be more food for the worms, so that's why I don't really worry about that. Especially when food is in short supply, and lately food for me has been in short supply. So I really don't mind if some of these foods take longer to break down. Because this is a piece of ginger. Because I don't have to feed quite as much, quite as often. But all in all, I think it's looking excellent in here. We're getting rather full, but I will give a small feeding today just to keep the action going, moisten it down a bit. And maybe in the next week or two, we'll be starting a new tray. So let me grab a little something for them to eat and we will get them fed up. Okay guys, so it's been a few days since I filmed the first part of this, and I've decided I'm actually going to start a new tray. So the first thing I'm going to do here is top this tray off with some bedding. So I'm just going to use some coconut coir. Then I'm going to pop the new one on top, and we're going to feed very heavily. So let me cover this with some coconut coir, and then we will start our new tray. Alright, so I added in this coconut coir pretty dry, because I'm banking on this feeding that we're going to put in this new tray to be relatively wet, so I want it to be able to seep down here and not flood out the system. So let's pop this new tray on, and I've got quite an array of some really messy, moldy food that I think will be perfect for the worms. Alright, so brand new tray, sitting nice and tall up on top. I mixed some coconut coir in with some shredded paper because that will help prevent the paper from matting up too much. Sometimes if you just have shredded paper, it'll mat up when it gets wet. So I'm doing that, and then I'm going to add a little bit of my dry mix, kind of heavily throughout here. Provide plenty of grit starting out this tray, some neem cake, all that good stuff. And if I can grab this down here, those are primarily coffee grounds, and they've been sitting here for a few days if you can't tell. So, I'm going to add these coffee grounds. Coffee grounds on their own will dry out, so you want to make sure you have some wet stuff as well, and I do have that in here. I'm going to just carefully get this and try not to breathe in too much of the fumes from some of the mold. But this is some pretty gnarly stuff, so I think this is going to be right up the worm's alley. So I've got lots of food. It looks like some orange peels, banana peels, lots and lots of coffee even in the bottom here. And I'm just going to take the rest of this and I'm going to dump it in. Definitely sludgy and gross. So I'm just going to spread this across the top here. Provide lots of space for it to heat up and not necessarily bother the worms too much. And I'm just going to do a handful of some asparagus tops that I have. And some orange peels. We've been juicing a lot lately, so I'm going to add just maybe 2 of these because we've got to be careful because of the acidity. And I'll add just a few more asparagus pieces. And that's what we're looking at in our new tray. So this is relatively heavy feeding. Didn't weigh it out, but I'd be willing to bet that's about 2 pounds. And for this system, that's quite a bit. So I'm going to top it off with a little bit more dry mix. And now I'm just going to top the whole thing off with coconut coir. I will not film that just because it'll make this way too long, but I'm going to do that now. And we will leave it for another week, see if the worms move up to our fresh tray. And we will come back next week for another update. So let me know what you think. Drop your comments below. Like this video. Subscribe if you'd like some more content from me. I'm eager to see how this new tray goes and how quickly they work up to it. So we will come back real soon and follow up on this. Hope you guys have a great day.